Alright, hello fun and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Select Power Bow mod, which is being made by user Nahir. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is a fun new custom animated bow and arrow that's specifically built for power armor. And I love this thing, which is kind of weird. I love bows in real life, but in video games, I tend to dislike them because they almost always feel like kind of an afterthought. But this one has a lot of unique mechanics that really drew me in, and I very much found myself enjoying playing with. So let's jump on over here and have a look at what exactly we are getting with the Power Bow, which in its most basic and standard form will do 225 damage with a new bolt ammunition with a firing rate of 3, range of 107, accuracy of 70 for a pretty hefty weight of 20.2, as this is effectively a heavy weapon. And as you can see, it is one gigantic chonky bow with an even chonkier arrow, which is in fact a bolt, much like you'd fire from a ballista, because again, it's built for power armor, and that makes a lot of sense. I just absolutely love this thing. It's so massive, so heavy, and just terrifying to use with how powerful it is. Again, that base damage of 225, and I had to take some perks for some of the modifications, so now just this basic version of the bow is actually doing 405, which is just a terrifying amount, and you can get this thing way, way higher than that. Again, terrifying, but I love it. And to make everything even better, this has a ton, an absolute ton of modifications, both for things that are going to change up stats as well as aesthetic options. It's probably got one of the best list of modifications I've seen in a very long time. There's just a lot to do in here to help this thing fit more your personal style and the kind of damage you're looking to get out of it, because, well, there's more than just this one standard bolt. There's all sorts that you can load into this bow, which just makes it even better. Now, as for how you get your hands on one of these things, it's going to take you a little bit, as they won't start spawning in the world until level 20, and you'll find them on super mutants, because of course if there's one person that could use this thing outside of power armor, it's gonna be super mutants. And that's a terrifying thought with them having this much power at their fingertips, especially when you consider this is also added into the legendary loot list, so you might encounter a super mutant with a legendary bow doing hundreds of damage. So if you don't want to hunt down a super mutant for their bow, there is one unique version of the bow that you can find out there in the world, and it's actually kind of important to find, because once you do, it actually does unlock the capability to build your very own power bow here at any chemistry workstation. And not only that, but also the other kinds of ammo. Without the unique bow, the only ammunition you can make at a chemistry station is either the power bolt or a rebar bolt. But once you have, found and gathered yourself the unique version, you can also make a splinter bolt for split projectiles, a punch bolt for knockback, incendiary bolt for fire, a cased bolt for some explosive power, a cased mine bolt to literally shoot a mine somewhere, a pulse bolt for hunting down robots, shocking charge for an electrical mine, and finally, an explosive bolt, which is literally a freaking mini nuke, and if I'm remembering correctly, we'll see it in a bit anyways, on the workstation, or the weapon workbench, is like well over 900 damage, which, awesome. So yes, you have a variety of bolts to build here, but only if you get the unique one. Otherwise, it's just rebar or power bolt. So an interesting mechanic there to begin with. Now, as for the other weapon modifications we've got a lot, so we're kind of going to go through them a bit quickly, starting with the standard composition here. Basically, think of the composition of the bow as the receiver, where we've got everything from standard to tuned all the way to advanced, which is going to pop that damage up to 748 just with the standard bolt, which is crazy. We then have, of course, the bolt category, so you can choose to just fire one of these, but the mod also does come with a bolt switching mechanic we'll talk about here in a moment. Now then we have a variety of both aesthetic and stat changing options, like the limbs of the bow, which are going to of course change these bits up here, where we can go with either a standard, tactical, compensator, or reinforced version with reducted versions of them that are going to do less damage, which is quite interesting, but we'll also change up other stats there as well. We then have the grip category, which does appear to be purely aesthetic here, where we got a standard, smooth, tactical, or clamp grip. We then have the twin bar connecting arms, which connect the handle to the limbs there, where we've got twin bars, brackets, booted, and braced. All, again, good looks, different nice aesthetics. We have sights for nothing, iron, reflex, and reflex dot. Then we have the handling style of the bow. Now, by default, it's automated, so you basically press the trigger, it pulls back and fires the bolt. But if you have it on manual, you actually hold down the trigger and then release to fire. So this is going to be what you're going to want to use if you're wanting to be a lot more accurate on your enemy. This for a faster rate of fire, basically. And then we have our material categories, which again, purely aesthetic. We've got for the limb, the drawstring, the grip, the connecting arms, and also accent materials. And the limbs, we've got everything from different kinds of metals, leathers, plastics, even of course, glorious wood. Now in the drawstring, we've got a variety of fabric, leather, and even rubber drawstrings. Then in the grip materials here, we've got fabric, ivory, leather, plastic, and wood. And then the connecting arms, it's a variety of different metals in here, leather wraps and plastic. But yes, just again, a lot of nice aesthetic options. And finally, the accent materials, a bit fancier of things like bronze, copper, gold, etc. Which again, just nice to add a bit more aesthetics to the bow. Very cool indeed. I do really like that. So yeah, a lot of different options, both for stats, but also just to make it fit more your personal style. And thus you can make something like this that I created earlier, which not only is very, very powerful with that 748, but, you know, has a really good look to it that I very much do enjoy. It's a lovely, lovely bow. We're going to drop that on the ground, though, while we talk about the different mechanics for this bow. Now, first and foremost, this is, again, as mentioned multiple times, designed for power armor, or of course, super mutants because they're big, bulky, and strong. But me, as a squishy little human, well, that's a bit more problematic. And right now, with my character, I cannot fire this bow. If I try and pull it back, we just struggle because we only have a strength of 5 on this character. And if you have a 6 or below, you simply cannot use this bow. Now, if you do go to a strength of 7, you can shoot it, but it's only gonna deal 50% of the damage. Now, if you go all the way to a strength of 10, which we'll go ahead and give that to our character right now, it will be able to fire the bow, and now it's 75% of the damage. So you're going to get 3/4 of it, which isn't too bad, but outside power armor as a human, you're never going to get the full power of the bow. You're always going to struggle with it. Now, I do want to show off this. I don't know if it's necessarily a bug, but just a oddity in the game. We now do have 10 strength, but I still can't pull it back. And that's because we need to, you know, not have the bow and then re-equip the bow. And now, once we have that, we should be able to shoot. Yep, there we go. And lovely, we can shoot this bow, and even though, you know, it's at 75% the damage, that's still a lot. I mean, right now, at the 225 on this thing, that's 75% of that is still a lot of damage. And of course, with certain bolts that don't explode or do something else, you can see that they are, you know, out here in the world, which is kind of terrifying. You are supposed to be able to get back certain ones of them. I haven't had luck with that, to be honest with you. It's probably one of those things where I'm just not looking in the exact right spot, so I can't seem to grab them. But yeah, you are supposed to be able to pick them up, but I have had no luck on that. But still, kind of neat seeing these gigantic bolts fired into the world. Oh, it's still fun. Now, what also is another interesting mechanic in this is, again, those different kind of bolts we have. We could, of course, just go back over here to the weapon workbench and modify our bolt to be able to fire another, but we also do get, when you have the bow, this power bow ammo switcher aid item. And if you favorite that, you can just activate it in the world quickly, and you can very quickly and easily change between different bolts. And also it shows your max power capacity. So as you can see here, since we're strength 10 outside of power armor, we are only getting that 75%. But I can also change it up to the bolt rebar and exit back out. And yeah, you can see there, we're now firing a bolt of rebar instead of the standard bolt. It's a cheaper ammunition, still does good damage, but only requires steel to make. And it's kind of wonderful. We, of course, also do have, that I've currently made on this character, we've got the punching bolt and the explosive bolt. We'll use that against a Deathclaw here in a moment. But yeah, we'll grab the punching bolt there. And you can see it's just an arrow with a glove. And yeah, it does some nice knockback on enemies. Well, let's actually see if I have better luck grabbing this one. Oh yeah, that one I actually do have luck with. It did say only certain ones can be picked up, so I guess maybe these ones cannot. I've been trying for ages thinking that they could, but nope. Punching one does, though. Neat. That's fun. Any of the ones that explode, though, those definitely, well, they're going to explode. Now, of course, just a quick thing about the ammo changer. It will not work if you have multiple bows. That is just we've seen these ammo switchers in the past, and that's always the case with them, because, of course, the game believes that you're only going to have one version of a weapon in your inventory, and so if you have multiples, yeah, it doesn't work out so well. So let's go ahead and drop our power bow so that we have my modified one here with an actual proper scope on it, and let's go kill a Deathclaw with a bow, because, I mean, that's just fun. We'll try with the normal arrows first. There we go. Our normal bow here. Oh boy. Oh, I missed him there. Okay. Ooh, got him in the hind leg, and that did some pretty good damage. 2 actual hits. 4 arrows launched. Only 2 actually hit, though, and they killed him good. Again, imagine a super mutant with that coming after you. Well, let's change it up. I'm kind of intrigued. I haven't tried this yet. What would a punching glove do to a Deathclaw? I need to know. And punch glove. Oh my god, it killed him in 1. Well, that's magnificent. Okay, well, let's switch it to the explosive mini nuke. That's clearly, if a punch glove killed him, the mini nuke definitely is. But, I mean, we gotta see what a mini nuke arrow does. In fact, I'm gonna fire one over there real quick. Oh, yeah! Bye-bye, Deathclaw. Oh, yeah, he's dead. He's super dead. And again, there were so many other kinds of bolts that you can play with, which just makes this thing even better. It's a fun weapon, even without power armor. I'm perfectly okay with 75% of the damage when you're shooting a mini nuke that does nearly 1,000. I'd say 75% of 1,000 still gonna basically kill pretty much anything in the game for you, which is just wonderful. But other than that, you still got a lot of damage with just the standard bolts out of this thing, which is pretty great. But if you want the full force, you gotta be in power armor, and that is where this thing will truly shine with the full 100% of damage. And that's pretty sweet. So if you'd like to take a look at this mod for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, you have a look at the link in the video as per usual. But that, my friends, is going to be it for this one today. Hopefully you all have enjoyed, and you do come back for whatever mod we look at next. But until that time, thank you for watching as always. Well, have a good one.